guys. If you want to get me out of my clothes, you need to buy the Angry Brothers Big Skull mug. On sale now.
Well, greetings, faithful followers. I'm Brother Jack Angry, along with Countess Boobula. And we're with the Angry Brothers Omaha Shakarama, myself, Brother James, the Countess, Inferna, and the rest of the gang want to welcome you to Chop Block's Horror Network. And remember, friends, let's keep America on top. Watch Horror Host, y'all. And you can do that on Chop Block. Anything you'd like to add, Countess?
Well, it seems like being spooky is in style these days.
So, good night and unpleasant dreams.
Sweet nightmare.
Well, greetings, faithful followers. I'm Brother Jack Angry, along with the Countess Boobula. And welcome to another edition of the Angry Brothers Omaha Shakarama. Tonight we've got a really great film for you. As I said last week during our filming of the Beast of Yucca Flats, we've got a great film, The Isle of the Snake People, starring Boris Karloff and Tongolele. Now, and don't you just love that name, Tongolele? I mean, couldn't you just sit there and just repeat that over and over again? I mean, it's almost got a hypnotic quality to it.
The sexy village lady.
There you go. It's like, yes, and a little tidbit of trivia about Tongolele, well, now that you mention that, she actually made most of her careers playing voodoo priestesses, cave women, vamps, seductresses, belly dancers, and other, I'll say cheesecake roles. I mean, she was a strikingly beautiful woman. I mean, she had because of a genetic condition, she had a very broad white forelock going pretty much from her forehead to down her back to the length of her hair, and it was like a skunk stripe. Okay, it's like, sorry, don't mean to be indelicate, but that's what it was, and it was actually very striking because she would wear her hair to emphasize it. Particularly, she would always wear her hair rather loose and down her back, so the stripe was very, very prominent and very visible, which added to her more exotic appearance. I don't know, I think you look really nice. Well, you've got your little white forelock here, and you look very nice with a kind of a white stripe down your...
I just might grow more.
Well, there you go. It's like, we might start a trend. Who knows? You know, maybe Brother Jack will get a stripe put somewhere in there. Brother James, we could just take a Sharpie and pencil one in on his bald head. You know, looks like a map of the San Diego freeway. But anyway, you know, 4 more years my ass, you Republican Trump hump.
Coaxing him on.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to see if we get a response. I don't think so. Coward. Anyway, you know, we'll get him back on the show and we'll really humiliate him, the Trump monkey, you know, the orange-ass clown. But anyway, back to, where was I? Oh yes, back to the Isle of the Snake People. This was Boris Karloff's last acting appearance, sadly. A little tidbit about the film itself. Boris Karloff, if you'll notice, in the second half of the film, all of his scenes, he was sitting in a chair and not really moving. And this wasn't because of any writing device on the part of the producers, directors, or writers. Or it did work out well for the scenes, yes, but also Karloff, because he was suffering from cancer, I believe leukemia. I could be wrong about that, but it was a form of cancer. He had become too weak to really stand and deliver any sort of coherent performance, so the directors basically had all of his scenes where he was done sitting at a desk, sitting in a chair, or something to that effect, because he was actually too weak to stand up. And most of the movie was filmed in, I believe it was Mexico,
Yes, because it was related with Mexican production.
Well, the production company there was a strong Mexican influence in the production
Yes.
company. Yes, a good deal of the crew was from Mexico and Tierra del Fuego. But the film itself, the majority of scenes were shot just outside of Mexico City because they needed a place that could simulate the hot jungle environment. You know, because a lot of the scenes were filmed in a jungle type setting, and they couldn't really achieve that effect in Hollywood, and it was considerably cheaper to shoot down in Mexico. Aside, you know, they got good deals on the travel costs, and because of some connections with the Mexican consulate and embassies, they were able to get some very good filming locations for not a lot of money. This movie only cost about $38,000 to make, and it cleared at the box office well over 150, so they more than made their money back. And as this was Boris Karloff's last film, Boris Karloff, yes, he died shortly thereafter, after the production wrapped, but prior to that, from the mid-60s up until his death in 1974, Boris Karloff had been the acting standing president of the Screen Actors Guild, which was a very, very prestigious position. It was a position that required him to actually be traveling. He was a very astute union negotiator, and he negotiated many of the studio contracts, the scale of wages, the benefits and medical programs for members of the entertainment industry, the acting industry, and the stuntman industry. And many of those institutions that he put in are still in effect today. So, you know, if you're in the entertainment industry and you're getting a good pay from the Screen Actors Guild, and speaking of which, Countess, you know, I've really got to reach out to them and see about us getting our union cards, you know, because I'm pretty sure what we're doing qualifies. And I'm a little surprise for the Countess. I am working on getting you some credits on IMDb, so you will have some official acting credits along with the Angry Brothers on the Internet Movie Database. So if you want to go on to, if you want to do any other projects in the acting industry, you will be able to say, I have an IMDb credit.
You may just see something.
Well, there you go. And when that news breaks, you'll hear about it here first, or through the Countess's Facebook pages and her outlets. But, you know, that's some more good stuff on the horizon. But without any further ado, we're going to bring you tonight's movie, The Isle of the Snake People, starring Boris Karloff and Tongolele, here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shakarama.
Sweet nightmare.
Come into my laboratory. I'd like to show you something.
We should leave at once. In those eyes, you can guess all the cruelty of their diabolical ceremonies. Ceremonies produced by sinister witches and under the guidance of the mysterious Damballa. Legends say they even produced human sacrifices. They gladly go to their deaths with the hope that they'll be accepted into the legion of the zombies, winning the favor of Baron Samedi, and this way enjoy the privilege of the living death.
faithful followers. Welcome back. What did you think of Isle of the Snake People? Wasn't tongolele, her little dance, wasn't that really friggin' great?
I'd say so.
Well, it's like, yeah, the way she, did the dance and held that snake. I mean, I'm not a big fan of snakes myself. I've worked for enough of them, and several of my last girlfriends could be described as that. But, she did the snake dance very well. And, one of our former showgirls, Dolce Vita, who we did an interview with on the show, and she appeared with us at several of our appearances at Okamicon, actually works with a albino ball python named Blondie. I mean, snakes are not my, it's like snakes, yeah, they make good belts and wallets and boots, but, they're not my bag, people. But, hey, if she loves them, then they can't be all bad.
Oh, they're family to me.
Wait a minute, I'm dealing with a mental picture here. Hold on. Okay, I'm done. Anybody got a cigarette? But anyway, yes, tongolele snake dance. Tongolele, as you know, she was a dancer, choreographer, actress, singer. She was originally from Brazil, I believe around the Sao Paulo area. She did a lot of behind-the-scenes choreography. She designed and choreographed that dance she did in the Snake People, but she also did a lot of classical dance, jazz, tap, and things like that, ballroom. She was quite a well-accomplished ballroom dancer, winning quite a few contests in the Los Angeles area in the late 50s through the early 60s. She actually she was an assistant choreographer for Gene Kelly in his production of Singin' in the Rain. It was one of her earlier gigs. She also was to be part of Bob Fosse's inner circle, and when he filmed All That Jazz, he consulted with her. It was an uncredited consultation, but he consulted with her on a lot of the dances, particularly some of the more erotic ones that were done by Anne Reiking and in that movie, which, very good movie. I mean, I highly recommend it. Google it or search it on IMDb. Great movie, Roy Scheider and Anne Reiking. But Boris Karloff, I mean, because of his state of health, he couldn't go to Mexico City to film a lot of the scenes. So Tongolele spent a lot of time flying back and forth between Hollywood and Mexico City to do the scenes. All the scenes she did with Karloff were actually filmed in Hollywood, and the scenes that she did without Karloff were filmed in Mexico City, or just outside of Mexico City. So she had racked up quite the frequent flyer miles, and that was before they had frequent flyer miles. You just got points from the airlines in those days, and she racked up a lot of points, but she did an excellent job.
Now I believe the snake people were religious. That was their religion.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
voodoo was thrown in there very inaccurately, by the
Yes,
way.
you're 100% right, Countess, and you brought up a very good point, and thank you for doing that. They were actually mixing their metaphors. The movie, in the beginning, they talk about voodoo and all this, but what they were actually referring to, voodoo was based in African culture and lore. What was practiced what was portrayed in the Isle of the Snake People, or the Snake People, depending on your point of view, was Santeria, which was actually which had its roots in Mesoamerica, Mexico, Tierra del Fuego, the Baja Peninsula, down into Colombia, Peru, Chile. All of those areas were hotbeds of Santeria activity. They used a lot of they used similar god images, and these were the old Aztec deities and the Mayan deities that were incorporated with the Christian saints and the Christian mythos, because Santeria had its beginnings in the Mayan and Inca empires, and when the Spanish came in and conquered those civilizations, they just kind of slapped a quick Christian face on everything, and it was business as usual, you know. But it wasn't so much voodoo, which was based on the African side of things, and that was practiced more in Haiti, the Bahamas,
France,
well,
New Orleans.
well, yeah, the French Creole, because of the French Creole populations in Louisiana and New Orleans, and the French West Indies, where the Bahamas, Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago, all those areas would have been more to the African side of it than the Santeria side, which was South America, Mexico, the California and Nevada areas. So they were mixing their metaphors, which is a common enough mistake that, you know, us poor white people make. I mean, hey, it all looks alike to us, you know, everybody's banging on the drums and dancing around, you know. That's about as far as many of us look into it.
Well, you're not white, you're green.
Well, I was white at one time. I mean, I was Irish English. You know, came from Ireland, and I emigrated to England, and I ended up in the United States in the colonies, and that's where I died, and that's where I came back from, you know, and I came back green. It's like, down below has a bit of a sense of humor, but hey, I get by. But, you know, I look good in green.
Yeah?
Okay, well that makes me feel better. You know, I'll put that in the win category for old Brother Jack. You know, unlike Brother James, you know, couldn't cut it as a zombie, had to come back as a human. You know, you wimp. Couldn't hang, huh? Couldn't hang. Nope, I don't think we're going to hear crap from him the rest of the show. Yeah, he kept popping in on us through the security camera system, and you know, it's like, I got to take his phone away from him. You know, he's having too much fun with that crap. But anyway, we're going to get back to the, we're going to get back to the conclusion of Isle of the Snake People here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shakarama. Enjoy.
Sweet night.
faithful followers. Welcome back. What did you think of Isle of the Snake People? I'm not a big fan of steaks, but that movie was slitheringly good, wasn't it?
Sounds more like you said steak.
No, oh, I said snakes. Well,
Snake steak?
snake steak. Well, they say it tastes like chicken. But I'm not a fan of steak either. I love it, but it doesn't love me. So, and besides the point, being a zombie, I gotta pretty much have all my food raw anyway. It's
I
like,
like mine bloody.
yes, I've heard that. It's like, Wait a minute. Dealing with another mental image. Give me a second. Oh yeah, Daddy like. Like I said, anybody got a cigarette out there? I'm going to need a cold shower after this one. But anyway, yeah, the film actually did very well at the box office. As I said, it more than made back double what it took to film it. So the directors, the actors, the actresses all got a nice little profit from the movie. So it was definitely chalked up in the win category. Sadly, it was Boris Karloff's last film. He passed away shortly after he didn't even finish filming the movie. He passed away as there was 2 or 3 scenes that he needed to film, which they just pretty much, they just did a voiceover in place of him in those last scenes. So you might see a little shift in the continuity of everything, and that's why, because he just unfortunately got too weak and he couldn't hang on to finish the film. And it's like, but Boris Karloff left behind a very impressive library of films. Even his bad ones had a certain polish and luster to them. He never turned in a performance that you could describe as crappy. He actually did performances ranging from highly emotive and dramatic, such as his portrayal in Frankenstein, up to performances that would have been campy or tongue-in-cheek or even comedic. And most notably when he played the sorcerer Scarabus in the American International Films production of The Raven, starring a very young Jack Nicholson and Vincent Price. He played a nefarious sorcerer who had stolen the wife of another sorcerer, and as it turned out, the wife and him were in cahoots, and it was basically a big screw job anyway. And everybody got what they deserved, and much hilarity ensued. But it was actually a very good film. And I'm not sure if I think we've run that film on the show, but it might be time to revisit it, and we can have the Countess here put her, particularly unique take on things.
As I usually do.
Well, yes, she does, and she definitely brings a very unique quality to the table here with the Angry Brothers, and we just love having her and having her as part of our little family. And she's definitely part of the family, so I can't really say enough good things about her. And I'm sure Brother James, if he were here and he knows what's good for him, he'll say the same things. But yes, the Snake People is one that we highly recommend. And we've been kind of getting away from our rating system because some movies you can't just sum up in a 1 to 5 Reggie rating. This movie had a lot of good technical qualities. The cinematography was good. The tongolele's dance scenes were excellent. Karloff's acting was at the top of his game in spite of his health issues. It had everything: villains you hated, heroes you loved, had a hot chick dancing around with a snake. You couldn't really ask for anything more than that. Could have had a few less clothing on the girls, but hey, that's just my personal opinion. But the Countess isn't over here shaking her head, so it's like, I think we might be seeing eye to eye on that one.
Indeed.
Well, there you go. She's kinky, who knew? But anyway, next week we're going to be bringing you we're going to be bringing you another great film here. There's a lot of great things on the horizon, so keep your eyes peeled on our webpage, our blog, our internet page. If you'll notice on the internet page, Countess, we did put your gallery up, and we did put a link to your Facebook pages, so all of our fans can go to our internet page, www.theangrybrothers.com, and they can find your Facebook page and see some really excellent photos of you in the gallery.
Working on more sets, by the way, so add a possible Patreon.
And when we get more information on that, we will bring that to you, and there will be a bump at the end of the show with a link that you can go to. And we hope if you see this and you saw us at the Groundhog Prom and you took our picture, just go ahead and send us those pictures at the email address that'll be at the bottom of the screen here. It's theangrybros, and that's all lowercase in one word, @gmail.com. And we'll get those up on the blog, and I'm sure the Countess will want to see them, and Brother James will want to see them, and I'll want to see them. If you have pictures, please, by all means, send them to us. So that wraps it up for this week here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shakarama. I'm Brother Jack Angry, along with the Countess Boobula. Well, we're waiting.
Sweet nightmare.
Well, there you go. And good night, unpleasant dreams, and let's keep America on top. Watch Horror Host y'all, and friends, don't let friends wear lab coats. Good night. Well, greetings, faithful followers. This is your old pal, Brother